Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, and this is our Planning Commission annual meeting. And we will work down this agenda before me, starting with Mrs. Brooks. If you will take care of item number 1, the presentation of fiscal year 2024-2025 major activities and financial status. Director Brooks, take it away.
All right, thank you. So today I'll share a brief presentation of what we have accomplished this year, both planning staff and planning commission, and give you a brief overview of our financial status. So the commission has reviewed almost 600 cases this year. These numbers are up from last year's total count of 524. And each case count, with the exception of plan amendments, has seen an increase over this past fiscal year. And so this is just a snapshot of some of the development activity that we've seen over this past year. This topic will be reported on more extensively next month as part of our development activity report. It was recently released. Hopefully you all have had a chance to take a look at that. We'll provide hard copies for you all. And then Aubrey on our staff will give a presentation next month. So this is just some of the highlights from our regional planning work. Mobility Plan 2050 was completed this fiscal year. We've been working on Breathe with the City of Knoxville, and we have a pavement management program. I'll dive a little more deeply into the Mobility Plan 2050. You've all heard me talk about this at a number of different agenda reviews. That $5.15 billion investment is aimed at enhancing mobility throughout the region, and it focuses on safety, modernization, accessibility, and this plan allows federal dollars to be received for these local projects, and is updated every 4 years to account for changes in the community, regional priorities, different technology that comes online, as well as changes in project cost and available funding. The Transportation Planning Group has also been working with the City of Knoxville on their climate pollution reduction grant for the Knoxville MSA. Our agency has primarily been focused on stakeholder engagement to help inform the development of measures that will be used as part of this plan, and as well as some key considerations for strategies for implementation. The Comprehensive Climate Action Plan is due at the end of this year. We've also been working with an outreach consultant to help us engage with the larger region outside of Knox County. So that would include the city of Alcoa, Maryville, and Oak Ridge. We expect to be completed with this work this fall. So continuing with some of our long-range and strategic planning work, you all have heard me mention the priority investment areas. We've been doing this in partnership with CAT and the City of Knoxville, and we kicked off this project last year. So we've been exploring potential development along key corridors that are primarily served by transit. So this project has a transportation focus, and it's going to look at how can we better enable mixed-use communities along these corridors. This focus is aimed at identifying opportunities to increase accessibility to both housing, but also economic development opportunities and jobs. We anticipate that this work will be completed next month, and we'll present a more comprehensive overview of what we find from that work. Middle housing, we've continued to evaluate those standards. You'll hear a little bit more about that during the agenda review with Lindsay giving you some updates on some potential ordinance amendments. We've also done quite a few other ordinance amendments this year. We've looked at the CG1 design standards. We've updated definitions, specifically in the industrial craft. Zoning designation, we've added residential care facilities as a special use in office park and zoning. We've also done some public outreach support for the South Waterfront Advisory Committee, the McClung Warehouse on behalf of the city, and then have been participating in the Parks and Greenway plan update. And of course, advanced Knox implementation. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the process to update this Unified Development Ordinance, we're actually not updating it, we're creating a brand new one. So it's going to include zoning code, street standards, subdivision regulations, and other key elements that help inform building in the unincorporated areas of the county. We have some groups that are meeting later this month to kick off this work, and then we'll do some community engagement this fall. We'll keep you all engaged as we move through this process, and we really do hope that you will lend your expertise, especially given the things that you hear during your regular Planning Commission meetings. Those are really important for us to get your feedback as we move forward. We have a pretty tight timeline to develop this Unified Development Ordinance. We're aiming to have this completed by next summer. So staff from our Information Services Division lends expertise to local partners by providing website support, not just to our own knoxplanning.org and knoxtpo.org, but other organizations such as the Chamber. And then I mentioned the Greenways work that's being done by the city. We've helped them create a website for that, as well as the Breathe Project. This group also creates and maintains a number of different tools that are available on our website and that are used quite extensively by our partners, including the Development Activity Dashboard and the Census Data Explorer. So this is as of April 30th, what you're seeing up here. You can see where, hold on one second here. These got rearranged. So this, I won't go into a lot of detail on this, but as you can see, so fees are roughly about 9% of our overall budget. That's been consistent over the last few years. The city of Knoxville's appropriation for this past year was about 18%, with 13% coming from Knox County. And then 60% of our revenues come from grants or contracts. A lot of those end up being reimbursements that they kind of flow through us, and then we send them out to other local jurisdictions. So as with most organizations, our salaries and employee benefits make up a significant portion of our budget. And also you could see where the grants and contracts as well. Again, that's primarily flow through our organization. And then we have some other minor expenditures that you'll see here. So insurance fees, fees that we pay Knox County for services such as our space, as well as other things like financial support and processing our payroll. So this is actual year-to-date as of April 30th. We will have a more comprehensive financial report that will be released in a couple of months. It gets posted on our website, and we'll make sure that you all receive a copy of that. And you might notice the discrepancies if you look really closely at this between our grant and contract reimbursements and what was originally budgeted. Again, we're only looking at the first 2 quarters of the year. So again, once we have all of our everything wrapped up by the end of the fiscal year, we'll send you out a final report. But that's kind of the significant difference that you see there. So in summary, we are in good financial condition as an agency. We continue to be very conservative in our budgeting, even when it comes to our fees. We are seeing a little bit of a surplus in fees for this last year based on obviously the number of applications that I mentioned earlier have grown over the last year, and that was somewhat unexpected on our end. But again, does anybody have any questions? Mm-hmm.
I understand the urgency of getting it done, and I agree with that. Is there going to be a map that's going to be rolled out of existing properties to see where, given the UDO, where they're going to be rezoned to?
So we haven't gotten to that point yet. Deciding whether or not we're actually going to rezone properties. That might not be something that we do as part of this. It might be that we're going to work with our consultants on this, obviously. We know that the county needs some additional zones because of the limited number of options that there are, and especially we need to have zones that will better align with this updated comprehensive plan that we have. So it could be that we just include some different options and let property owners pursue that. Or we could go the route that the city did where we're going to look at commercial zones specifically. So I don't know the answer to that yet of whether or not they'll actually be rezoned or not. But I do know there will be some new zones that'll be introduced. So we'll talk about that more as we get into the process. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Brooks. On to item number 2, the election of Planning Commission officers, chair and vice chair. And I will ask Commissioner Boyer to report on the nominating committee's offerings.
Good morning. The committee consisted of Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Browning, and myself. It was a unanimous decision for the slate that was announced at our previous meeting. That would be our current vice chair, John Huber, to chair, and Richard Levinson, Commissioner Levinson, to vice chair for the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyer. And we also had a floor nomination for Commissioner Gill. And I'll ask Commissioner Gill, as I asked the others that were offered up, are you willing to be a nominee?
Yeah, thank you. After careful consideration and with the most respectful, I would like to withdraw my nomination. I think that what's best for our commission and our city moving forward is to support what the nominating committee voted on.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, all right. We will have one abstention. So at this time, I will, I guess, call for a vote as Vice Chair Huber becoming chair and Commissioner Levinson becoming vice chair. I'm sorry? What'd you say?
To do it separately or not, or do it as one? You can just do it.
Anybody opposed to doing it as one? Okay, because we've really closed nominations, so, all right. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Chair Huber and Vice Chair Levinson. All right. Any other business? If not, we will consider our annual meeting adjourned. Thank you.